because they're going to Game 6, another extra inning thriller today in Anaheim. In Shea Stadium, the Astros were hoping to get even. The Mets were hoping to avoid another road trip. And in Dallas, the Redskins get skinned as the Cowboys are back in the saddle again. All this and more ahead on the ESPN SportsCenter. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SportsCenter. I'm Alan Massengale along with Tom Mees. And, Tom, we've got an hour to do, but I believe we're both out of breath from what we've seen today in baseball and football.
This day has been something else, Alan. I tell you, just when you thought it was safe to watch the baseball playoffs, just when it couldn't get any better than this, something else mind-boggling happens that makes you realize why baseball is America's pastime. The four teams now in these playoffs, the Mets, the Astros, the Angels, and Red Sox, have played the game to the hilt and have given us all thrill upon thrill, and it ain't over yet. We begin in the American League playoffs when the Red Sox and Angels actually managed, if you can believe this, to top the theatrics of Saturday night, Sunday morning with a super Sunday of emotion and unbelievable plays. Game 5, simple. The Red Sox had to win or they had to go home for the wintertime. Let's take a look at the highlights. We'll pick it up 2-1 Boston, bottom of the 6th, 2 outs, man on. Bobby Grich sends a drive to deep center. Dave Henderson's got it measured. Henderson with a great catch, but it caroms off the glove over the fence. If he'd have left it alone, it would have stayed in for a double, but California leads 3-2. On the replay, look again. The ball goes into the center of the glove. Great try by Henderson, but bad luck, and the jolt against the wall knocked it out of the glove and out of the park. With the score 5-2 Angels now. Top of the 9th, 1 out, 1 on for Boston. Don Baylor, bang. It looks like he just takes a little dinky swing. Well, he takes a little dinky swing out of the park. It's now 5-4. Well, Gene Mauch makes the move of the game. He took Mike Witt out. He brought in Donnie Moore, opening himself to a lot of second-guessing. 2 strikes on Dave Henderson, the GOAT. Meet Dave Henderson, the hero, with a man on board. Back, back, back. It is out of there. Boston leads it 6-5. They're going back to Boston. But wait a minute. Bottom of the 9th inning. Let's not forget the Angels are a great team in the late innings. Rob Wilfong singling past Marty Barrett into right. Pinch runner Rupert Jones. It's going to be a play at the plate. Gedman with a tag, and Jones is safe, and we're tied at 6. Could it be? Bottom of the 10th, 2 outs and 1 on. The Angels threatening again. Gary Pettis, a drive to left field. Jim Rice looks like he may not have any room. The season could be over, but he makes the grab. And the fence notwithstanding, we go to the 11th. To the top of the 11th, there's that man again, Henderson. Sack fly, deep enough with the bases loaded. Yes, it is. And Don Baylor scores easily. The Red Sox lead 7-6. Now, could they hold on? By now, you think you've seen everything, right? But Ed Romero hits a tremendous drive to left. Brian Downing back, back, back. Oh, he makes the grab, and the fence is still standing. An incredible catch. And the Angels managed to keep it at 7-6. In the bottom of the 11th, 2 outs, Calvin Schiraldi pitching, the GOAT from Saturday. Brian Downing pops out to end the game. The Red Sox survive. That's Mrs. Schiraldi. She was so heartbroken when Calvin hit that batter with the bases loaded Saturday night. Nobody remembers that now, ladies and gentlemen. So Boston wins it 7-6. I'm drained just after seeing those highlights again. Crawford the winner. Moore takes the loss. Gene Mauch will be second guest for a long time, Alan, taking Mike Witt out of that game and bringing in Donnie Moore.
Not if the Angels go on and win it, though.
No.
For the Red Sox, you could just feel and sense their determined and desperate attitude today. They were saying, if only we could get out of here and get back to Fenway, then we'll take this thing to 7 games. And the Angels, what a tough one to take. Only 1 pitch away from the World Series, only to have to pack it up, gather themselves, and head east. Gail Gardner was Anaheim, and here's how she saw it.
This was not a game for the faint of heart or meek of spirit. A series that was supposed to emphasize pitching turned into a hitter's delight. Sometimes the power source was unlikely, but always the unusual was emphasized. Boston's Dave Henderson, the key player in this tale, took us all along on his personal emotional roller coaster ride, atoning for dropping Rich's homer by hitting one of his own in the top of the 9th to give a club that trailed 5-2 to start the inning a 6-5 lead. Then when the Angels tied it again in the bottom of the inning, it was that man Henderson again whose sac fly in the 11th brought in the eventual game winner.
It was an up-and-down game, and, you know, we gained leads and we lost leads, and, you know, we got into the 10th, 11th inning, and, you know, I hit a home run, but the team was just battling, and we knew we had to win, so we came out with a win, and we're going back home hoping to win it.
The other GOAT-turned-hero, young right-hander Calvin Schiraldi, a broken-hearted pitcher after losing Game 5 in the 11th inning, ironically found salvation today in the bottom of that same inning as he came on to set the Angels down in order and send the series back to Fenway.
Well, the only thing that was going through my mind once I knew I was in the game was getting the first hitter out. I put my put what happened last night behind me when Endo hit the home run. And once he hit the home run, I knew that I had a chance to get in the game. I had to prepare myself for this game, and that's what I tried to do. And fortunately for me, it worked out. I got the first hitter out, and then things just kept rolling.
And right now, you must be feeling pretty good, I mean.
I feel real good right now, yeah. Giving us a chance to go back home and win this thing.
I know you've never heard this before, but it's never over till it's over.
How right Yogi was. It isn't over till it's over. You never know when Don Baylor will step up and hit a totally unexpected homer. Or a Gary Lucas split-fingered fastball will hit Rich Gedman on the hand, setting the stage for Henderson's heroics. The bottom line here is that the Red Sox and Angels are a couple of tough, tenacious clubs, and neither will bow out of this series with a whimper.
Really, Gail, that we've said it all year long. You know, we've been maligned and criticized, and off the field, and you see signs hanging around here that another Boston choke and all that, and that doesn't sit very well with me or the players because we weren't involved in the prior season's failures or whatever you want to call them, disappointments. But we have faced the adversity, challenges on the field too, as far as every team in the division made a run at it. And we were able to meet that challenge.
I just harken back to '82 when we had a 2-0 lead in games in a 5-game series, and it got away. And until that last out is made, I never think we have it.
We still have 3 games. We only need 1 more victory. We have a veteran ball club that's capable of withstanding and bouncing back, so we're going to be fine. We'll be fine. And I think that today we learned a hell of a lot by realizing when you get a man down, keep your foot right on his neck. You know, keep his nose right in the dirt. Keep it right there as hard as you possibly can. Don't let him up. You know, make him say uncle. Because if you give a man any kind of breathing room or any kind of feeling that he's got a chance, he's going to jump up and bite you.
The fans left Anaheim Stadium today in stunned silence. Sure, their Angels still have a game lead, but the series now goes back to Fenway, and I think it's pretty clear by now that nothing is a given. Anything that can happen has already happened and probably will happen again. From Anaheim Stadium, I'm Gail Gardner, ESPN.
And in Game 6, 2 pitchers looking for some redemption. The Red Sox sent Oil Can Boy to the hill. It was obvious the other day how determined he was to get a win in this series. Perhaps the home crowd will pump him even further if that's possible. Kirk McCaskill has also been out and lost once. Could be dangerous, Tom, if Boyd's any pumped up more than he was the other day.
You know, interesting, Alan, listening to Reggie Jackson in the locker room saying, well, we still have a 3-2 lead. We still have 2 chances to win. That the Angels do, and they still must be favored because they do have the upper hand. But it was interesting also that Reggie said after they won Game 3 Saturday night, we have to keep their face down in the dirt. We have to put our foot on their neck. We can't let them up. The Angels have let them up, and they may be sorry.
I think it's going 7. I think it's going 7.
If it goes 7, I think I got to favor the Red Sox. Who knows? We'll have golf and tennis news a little bit later in the program.
And also later, NFL news, including a must-win game for the Dallas Cowboys. But next, a recap of tonight's National League Mets momentum. After Len Dykstra's game-winning homer Saturday, then it was clear Scott did not subscribe to that theory. In fact, the Astros were counting on him to get this series back to even and guarantee a trip back to the Dome. That's what they're going to get tonight. All roads lead to Shea Stadium in Flushing. Top of the second, 1 on, 2 out. Alan Ashby will step up in there. And this is an interesting one we've got here. A pop foul down the left side. Rafael Santana, Ray Knight, head for it to the temporary stands. Knight seems to be in control, but he can't get it there. Santana called him off. The ball goes into the newly extended stands. Could have been caught. 3 pitches later, Ashby sending one toward the Van Wyck Expressway into the bullpen. A 2-run homer, 2-0. That's all Scott would need. Bottom of the 4th, and another strange play coming up. Wally Backman hitting a high hopper to first. Mike Scott coming off the mound. Glenn Davis fields the ball, but Scott runs into Backman's path. Interference is called. Hal Lanier will later argue with Joe West, but Scott got out of this inning despite that scary moment. Top of the 5th, 1 out. Dickie Thon takes Fernandez deep to left. It's going to carry over the fence, and it's 3-0 Houston. Bottom of the 6th, the story of the game. Mike Scott, who was rolling right along. He fans Lee Mazzilli to break an NLCS record for strikeouts in the series, breaking Tom Seaver's mark of 17 and 73. Bottom of the 8th now, Mookie Wilson on 3rd, and Danny Heath, a sac fly to Billy Hatcher in left center. Mookie tags, he scores. It's 3-1 Houston, but the bottom of the 9th, Scott wrapping it up. Gary Carter, who has been silent in this NLCS. To Hatcher, camping out the final 3-1 Houston. Mike Scott pitching in only 3 days rest. The first pitcher to ever pitch 2 complete games in a playoff series. 19 strikeouts, most ever in a league playoff. And that breaks Dave Steve of Toronto last year, who had 18. So that's a major league record. Mike Scott continued to roll along.
He's been the pitching star of the series so far. Of course, he won that 1-0 game against Dwight Gooden in Game 1, and he hung in there for a big victory against the Mets tonight to make sure that the series will at least go 6 games. He's really outshone Dr. K from last year, Dwight Gooden.
George Grant is standing by in Shea Stadium. We hope to hear from him later on, depending on how things are out there.
All right.
So we hope to have a live report from him on this one, how he saw it.
Got to be a madhouse in New York tonight. Of course, it's a madhouse in New York every night. Let's take a look at pitchers now for Monday afternoon scheduled Game 5. The weatherman says it'll rain in New York, but if it doesn't, Game 5 will have Jim DeShays going for the Astros. The Mets will come back with Dwight Gooden, who pitched in Game 1 and pitched so well and lost that 1-0 heartbreaker in Game 1. Well, the baseball world was saddened today with the news of the passing of former Detroit Tiger slugger Norm Cash. The 51-year-old first baseman, Cash, apparently drowned and his body washed up on the shore of Beaver Island, Michigan today. The death is still under investigation by law authorities. Cash, who won a batting crown in 1961 with the Detroit Tigers, never fully recovered from a stroke he suffered a few years after retirement. Cash hit .271 lifetime with 377 homers and 1,103 RBIs. First baseman Norm Cash of the Detroit Tigers dead at the age of 51. And, of course, the baseball world is mourning as we celebrate the baseball playoffs. That's definitely a sad note.
Well, all Hector broke loose in Foxborough, Massachusetts today. We'll show you the story from the Jets and Patriots.
And the Redskins fans certainly were ready in Dallas today, but it didn't look like their team was. Where are these? These are Redskins fans in Dallas. We'll have this insanity for you in a moment.
Who's got hands and legs and everything else. Taking off, watch him go all the way down to the 1 before they finally bulldoze him down. 16-0, Cowboys at the half. Fourth quarter, 16-6. Pallure lost it into the end zone. Mike Sherrard and Darrell Green go up for it, and it was ruled a catch. Tie goes to the offense there, 23-6 Cowboys. Washington then fumbled the kickoff. The screen to Herschel, and look out for this guy. He's going to make a move to the inside, makes another move, avoids the tackle, gets a block, and he's all the way down again to the 1. No tornado set, but Walker filling in nicely. His scores his second TD from there, the final 30-6 Cowboys. They have improved their record, and Skins have also, and they're back in the Cowboys are back in the NFC East hunt with a 4-2 record. Walker, the receiver, 6 receptions, 155 yards. Well, it seems nothing is more deep-rooted in American folklore than the Cowboys versus the Redskins, be it football or history. But Newsweek magazine said today a member of President Reagan's administration is working to arrange an exhibition football game between Dallas and Washington next summer in Moscow. Perhaps a red-hot football rivalry can thaw out U.S.-Soviet relations a bit. We'll see.
Yes, we will see. Before the season, many NFL pundits, that's a weird story, many NFL pundits wondered out loud about the Chicago Bears' resolve coming into the season. I mean, I guess their resolve is pretty good, huh? The Bears, after 6 weeks, are one of only 2 unbeaten teams in the NFL. Today, they were easy winners at Houston against the 1-5 Oilers. Still, they drew a sellout crowd at the Astrodome. Oilers frustrated all day. Second quarter, Jim McMahon spots Matt Suey. Now, did he catch the ball? Well, doesn't look like it, but the referee said yes. Then a few minutes later, Dennis Jeffrey breaks one up the middle, 21 yards for a touchdown, 7-0 Bears. A rough day all the way around for Houston. Watch Ernest Gibbons go deep for the Warren Moon bomb. He's open, and he doesn't have it, and he gets a face full of dirt. You should have caught it. Into the third quarter we go. Jim McMahon back to pass. Steve Brown looks like he has a sure interception for the Oilers. He's back there. He's got it, but no. Hands of stone lives. So instead, Walter Payton says, give me the football. Enough of this foolishness. He scores. It is 20-7 the final. Jerry Glanville, the Houston coach, doesn't think it's very funny. Walter Payton becomes the first player in NFL history to gain 20,000 yards by rushing, receiving, and returns. He is the best runner, in my opinion, ever.
It was a homecoming of sorts for former Atlanta Falcon quarterback Steve Bartkowski, now in the L.A. Rams blue and yellow. Also a matchup between 2 of the best runners in the league, L.A.'s Eric Dickerson and the Falcons' Gerald Riggs. Dickerson, Bartkowski, and company got the worst of this deal. Second quarter, Falcons leading 3-0. Former Falcon Bartkowski, a 19-yarder to Michael Young, looking good here, 7-3 L.A. But the Falcons special teams give them an opportunity. Brett Clark blocks a Dale Hatcher punt. It only goes 17 yards. And Atlanta takes over on the LA 47. The Falcons running game takes it in. Mr. Riggs follows Bill Fralick's block to score from 4 yards out. Atlanta regains the lead, 10-7. That's the score at the half. Early third quarter, Rams driving with Atlanta. Special teams again. That's the mark of a good team. Mike Pitts blocks a field goal attempt. Buddy Curry, watch him go. He goes to the LA 46. That set up a Mick Luckhurst field goal. Robinson telling you what he thinks about that. 13-7 Atlanta. Falcons score on their next possession. Charlie Brown with a little help from Leroy Irvin. David Archer gets the pass in there somehow. Brown scores easily and then gets a 5-yard penalty for over-celebrating. Get rid of that rule. Falcons hold on to win 26-14. They actually had some fun, so I guess that's against the rules, too. Anyway, Riggs, 141 yards, 1 touchdown. The Falcons, of course, the surprise story of 1986. They have sole possession of the West with a 5-1 record, and the Rams fall to 4-2.
I do not understand how the Philadelphia Eagles ever beat Atlanta last week. Why? Well, in Giants Stadium today, the New York Giants defense was brilliant. And to be frank about it, the Philadelphia Eagles stunk. I mean, it stunk the joint out. Well, both. The result, an easy 5th win in a row for the Giants team that may really be starting to hit its stride. All Giants today. We'd show you Philadelphia Eagle highlights, but didn't have any. Joe Morris, 2 nice blocks here, 30-yard touchdown run, sure. Fall like bowling pins, why don't you? 7-0 Giants. The Eagles did have, yeah, they had 1 punt return for 59 yards. Did they get a touchdown? No, they get a sack by Lawrence Taylor. 1 of 4 in the day for the brilliant Mr. Taylor out of North Carolina. 14-3 Giants half. Third quarter, Giants on the move. Phil Simms. The pass is tipped, but it is caught. When you're hot, you're hot. Solomon Miller, his first career TD. 21-3. Then the Giants fake the field goal. Jeff Rutledge, the holder, the Harry Carson, the linebacker, his first pass reception for a score in his 11-year career. The fans love it. Why not? The Giants were great. The Eagles resembled a Sandlot team. Elsewhere in the NFL, St. Louis wins. Well, wonders will never cease. 30-19. They get rid of Otis Anderson. Winner. 30-19. Neil Lomax, 228 yards, 2 TDs. The Cardinals snap a 7-game losing streak over 2 years. And yes, friends, the Tampa Bay Bucks, or the Yucks, drew 33,300. Wow, they're packing them in. Detroit over Green Bay, 21-14. The Lions are 3-3. Green Bay is 0-6. Rookie Gary James out of LSU, 140 yards rushing today for Detroit. His first National Football League touchdown as well.
And, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Mees has redirected his wrath from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard it here. Up ahead, the Broncos stampede continues as Elway once again shows...
Backup quarterbacks. Pat Ryan, the backup for the Jets. His opposite number, Steve Grogan for the Patriots. They each had a good day. But first quarter, 4th and goal. Johnny Hector sweeping right. 1 of 3 1-yard touchdown runs for Hector on the day. 7-0 Jets. Second quarter, it's already 17-0 New York. Just a minute, 8 to go in the half. Pat Ryan play fake, looking to the right corner. Mickey Schulder, touchdown. Jets in a walk, right? 24-0 at the half. Third quarter, 24-3. Steve Grogan says, wait a minute. From the shotgun, looking deep for the Stanley Steamer out of Tennessee, Stanley Morgan. And it's 24-10. Still in the third. 3rd and 2 from the Pats 31. Grogan again looking deep. He finds Irving Fryer. Now, Irving does a no-no here. He scores a touchdown. That's allowed. But watch what he does after the touchdown. Irving, fun is not allowed in the NFL. Shame on you. It is 24-17. Still in the third quarter. 3rd and 2 from the Pats 31. Grogan, Hector goes, well, that's a 3rd and 1. Hector's having fun, too. That's not allowed. The Jets win it by a score of 31-24. Steve Grogan passed for 401 yards in that game. Now, the high-flying Jets are now in control of the AFC East. We have some comments from both locker rooms.
You know, you can't let New England sweep you because, you know, they're us and them, you know, are the class of our league, and we let them beat us twice. That means they're better than us, and I don't think they are.
They're a good team, you know, and you can't take anything away from them because, hey, we made a lot of mistakes today, and they set the tempo today, and they really actually just took it to us in the first half, and, hey, we just got to come out next week and be a better team.
It's not easy making up 24 points in one half. We did that, and I'm happy about the way the offensive played, but we still didn't make the big play at the end when we needed to make the big play, and for whatever reason, it needed to be done and didn't get done.
Well, it was an important game for both teams, and but I've said all along that this division is going to go down to the end. I don't think anybody's going to run away with it, so there's a lot of football to be played yet.
The Denver Broncos are certainly hoping history repeats itself. In 1977, they won their first 6 games and went all the way to the Super Bowl. Today, they matched that mark. And the Broncos, along with the Chicago Bears, are the only unbeaten teams left. The Broncos walked all over the San Diego Chargers. Denver leading 10-7 in the second half, but the Broncos are driving again. 3rd and goal. John Elway throws to running back Gerald Wilhite coming out of the backfield. He scores. Got in there. 17-7 Broncos. Dan Fouts ran up against a stingy Denver defense. Fouts looks for an open receiver, but his pass is tipped and picked off by Bronco Tony Lilly, a former Gator. 1 of 2 interceptions on the day for Lilly. Denver converted the turnover into a touchdown. That's 24-7 Denver. Denver special teams made their contribution to the rout. San Diego forced to punt from deep in the end zone. Mike Harden fields a punt at the 41, and look what happens. Just no problem all the way in. 31-7 Denver. Denver's defense played havoc. Dan Fouts looks for an open man, but gets shut down right here by Carl Mecklenburg and Rulon Jones. Denver rolls 31-14 to remain undefeated. And John Elway, 4 touchdown passes. The Chargers are now 1-5. San Diego having a rough time this year, obviously. Denver 6-0. And here's how Elway feels about being undefeated.
We're a different team now than we have been in the past. We're just playing super football, and everybody's doing their job. And, you know, we're a total team right now, special teams, offense, and defense, and everyone's doing their job. And, you know, anytime you got a team that's playing as well as we are, hopefully the other team doesn't look good. And you know, San Diego's struggling a little bit, but we were awful worried coming in.
It was a good victory for us because we were able to keep Danny a little frustrated. It's been a long time since we've sacked Dan Fouts 5 times. It's been a long time since he's been sacked 5 times. I think there was only like 7 or 8 sacks that they've given up the whole year. So I think that was the key of the game, is keeping him out of his game.
Meanwhile, in Los Angeles this afternoon, a typical hard-hitting Raiders-Seahawks game with a typical result, a low-scoring and close outcome. Let's see who got the better of it. Second quarter, Raiders on the move. Jim Plunkett. Watch him slip the rush of Joe Nash. Hey, there's Jesse Hester, the wide receiver out of FSU. And Hester, 49-yard TD, 14-0 Raiders. Third quarter, Seahawks cut it to 14-10 as Kurt Warner gets the pitch on 3rd and goal and scores 14-10. From then on, though, the Raiders put the pressure on Dave Craig, the Seattle quarterback. Last drive of the game, last chance. Raiders on the blitz, and he is sacked by Greg Townsend. Remember, he was suspended earlier in the week, and then an appeal ruling let him play. The Seahawks wish he were still suspended. The Raiders win at 14-10. They've won 3 in a row. They're 3-3. Seattle falls to 4-2. Steve Largent did catch a pass, 129 and counting games in a row catching a pass for Largent. Cleveland over Kansas City, 20-7 was the final. The Cleveland Browns beat Kansas City as Bernie Kosar passed for 287 yards and 2 touchdowns, completing 22 of 35. There's the final. And in Indianapolis, Robert Irsay's Colts having a tough time. Gosh, New Orleans beat them 17-14. Buford Jordan, a 9-yard touchdown run after a Jack Trudeau fumble. The Colts fumbled 5 times, lost 3 of them. They're 0-6. New Orleans is up to 2-4. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati in the AFC Central will go at it tomorrow night at Riverfront at 9 Eastern time.
Tom, I think Commissioner Rozelle did the Raiders a favor with the Townsend incident, got them fired up. They love that adversity. We've got lots of news still ahead on this hour edition of Sports.